How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to an episode here on Let's Build Twitter. As always, I'm Ethan, or Unknown Coder, your favorite underqualified senior software engineer. And as always, if you guys do want access to the private repository for this project, there's a link in the description down below that'll walk you through exactly how to gain access to that. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into what we're working on today. Today, we're going to go ahead and try to set up the ability to be able to click on the show more. We're going to go ahead and open up a new page, and then shows a whole bunch of just different lists. It's primarily just going to be random because we're not going to set up any algorithm to track the user or anything like that. But that's what we're going to go ahead and work on today. Probably going to be a little bit of a longer one, so bear with me here, strap in, and get ready to go. So that being said, yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the code and get to work here. First thing we want to go ahead and do is fix a little bit of a typo that got kind of leaked through a couple episodes ago. So we're going to go ahead and open up our project here, go into our features, our list, our components, and this is going to go ahead and be in the list members or followers top. Let's come in here and then open up this guy, and then here we have this list user to display. This should be list users to display. So at one point we had typoed inside of our list slice, and I forgot to change a couple things. So I think that's the last lingering bug from that. And now this should actually go ahead and basically refresh or close everything out of that list, and we should be good to go there. Now with that being done, we can go and open up our Explorer page again, and we can go ahead and go into our pages to create the page that we're working on today. We're gonna go ahead and create a new file, and this is gonna go ahead and be called the suggested lists and page.tsx. We'll also go ahead and make a suggested and list page.css, and let's go and open this up. So let's go ahead and import our React from and React, and let's also go and import our /suggested list page.css. Then we go and export and default and suggested list page, and make sure it's a default function here. Whoops. Default function. I'm a little bit tired this morning. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to open this up. I've been absolutely grinding trying to get all these episodes ready, because by the time you guys see some of these, I'm going to be probably on the road to Iowa. So I want to make sure we have plenty of episodes while I'm gone for 2 weeks. So now that we got this set up, let's go ahead and get the return statement created. Inside the return, we're going to have a div class name equal to, and this will be our suggested -list -page. And then inside, we're going to go ahead and set up a few placeholders. So we're going to have our suggested, and it doesn't matter if it's spelled right, but I'd like to have it spelled right. Suggested, and this one's going to be list top bar. And let's also make sure this is a fragment. So we have our suggested list top bar placeholder. Then we're going to go ahead and have a placeholder for our choose your list, like so. And then you're going to go ahead and have a placeholder for discover list, like so. And then finally we have a placeholder for create your own and list. So basically these are going to be pretty simple little sections on the page that we should be able to get all done this episode. We're pushing like 50 minutes or something. I might split the episode in half and upload them in 2 parts. It's like write a new intro or something for the second part, but I think we should have enough time here. Now that we have the placeholder set up, let's go and bring in some state. So we're going to need our const logged in. We're also going to need token is equal to use selector, and then inside here we're going to say state in root state. Go ahead and import that as well, state.user. Let's also go ahead and say const dispatch is an app and dispatch equal to use dispatch. Go ahead and import those as well. Finally, let's go ahead and set up a use effect, and then inside the use effect we'll need to import that in a second. We're going to go ahead and watch for logged in the token update. Let's go and import our use effect. Maybe okay, it's not going to let us, so I'll just go ahead and manually update it. So use effect, there we go. I don't know why sometimes it won't let me import. It is what it is. So now we're going to go ahead and check to see if we have our logged in and we have our token. So if the person's logged in and we fetch their token, let's go ahead and dispatch. And inside the dispatch, whoops, got a little ahead of myself. Inside the dispatch, we're going to go ahead and say fetch suggested list. And then let's go ahead and open up the object. User ID will be logged in .user ID. And then we'll go ahead and have our amount. This one is about 50. And then finally have a token. So I went through and created about 20 like little placeholder lists. So we should have logic on the back end that even if we don't fetch all 50, it'll just fetch 20 of them and just display them. So we should be fine there. So that looks good to go. Let's save it up. Now let's go ahead and create the quick style for our suggested list page. We should have just made like a shared style for all the lists, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and hop into the CSS and get this set up. Inside our suggested list page.css, we'll say .suggested dash list, list page. Hopefully I spelled that properly. Width will be 100%. We're going to have a height of fit dash content and then a min height like a type of 100 VH and a display of flex. We'll go ahead and flex dash direction in the column. After flex direction, we'll go ahead and justify content and dash content and flex dash start. I think this probably should be center, and then align items should go ahead and be the flex start, but it is what it is. And then border on the left on 1px solid, and this one's going to be pound AAB8 and C2, and then I'm going to go ahead and copy this because I'm lazy. Okay, let's copy it, and then let's go ahead and paste it down here. I want to go ahead and do that to make it look nicer. I'm going to border right. There we go. And now we need to go ahead and set up the ability to route to here. So let's go ahead and open up the app.tsx and do the page route for this. Inside of app, let's scroll down to our routes. We already have one for suggested list. That means that we only have custom feed after this. So we're getting somewhere. Custom feed's a lot of work, but we are getting somewhere. So here we're going to go ahead and have our suggested list page. And let's go ahead and import that. And then we need the ability to navigate to it by clicking a button. And to do this, we need to go ahead and make a small change inside of our Discover List component. So let's go ahead and hop into our Discover List component. Inside Discover List, we're going to go ahead and set up a small piece of state first. So let's go ahead and come in here, go ahead and say an object. And this is going to go ahead and say display show more, because there's going to be a place where we don't display show more. And then let's go ahead and say display show more is like this, and let's make sure that we put this as a boolean. So now there's going to be a spot where this is broken, but that's fine. And then let's go ahead and bring in our const navigate is equal to use navigate, like so. Import that, and then whenever we navigate to show more, we'll go ahead and get rid of this bit. And here now go ahead and say navigate, navigate, and this is going to go ahead and be the slash list slash show, and then actually not list slash show more, suggested. There we go, and save that. And now that should be good. And then the final thing that we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to come down here and we're going to wrap this show more div. Let's go ahead and wrap this inside a set of curly braces and make it look a little bit better. And then we're going to go ahead and check to see if we want to display show more. And then because we're going to reuse this component in another place where we're not going to want to go and show that. Now let's go ahead and figure out where we're using this at by opening up the browser and see where it's broken. So now it's going to be inside of our list page. So let's go ahead and hop into our list page and fix this. So inside of list page, let's go ahead and we want to display show more, obviously. So we're going to go and say display show more is equal to and true. Obviously, we want to be able to click on that. We're going to use this inside like a modal or something later, or inside of the page that we're creating actually, but it's not going to display show more because we're already on show more. So let's go ahead and hop into the front and give it a refresh and make sure we can navigate to where we want. Then we'll start working on that top bar next. So now let's give it a refresh. If we go ahead and click on show more, and you can see we have all of the placeholder components. And again, we'll fix this issue in another episode. Could have brought it up a few episodes, but it is what it is. We are going to fix this issue eventually. Cool. With everything looking good, let's go ahead and start working on the top bar, and we'll kind of work our way through all the components that go in this section and hopefully wrap this up today. Let's go and open up our Explorer here, and then let's come back inside of our list feature here. We're going to go ahead and create a new folder, suggested list top bar slash suggested lists top bar dot tsx. If I could type tsx, and then suggested list top bar dot css looks great. Let's hop into the tsx. Go and import React. From React. Maybe. Oh my goodness, I cannot type this morning. And then also import our dot slash, and this one is going to go ahead and be suggested list and top bar dot css. Go and export maybe const, excuse me, and suggested list top bar. Get a little bit of hiccups there. React.fc, arrow function, and then we'll go ahead and set up the return. So return like so, and then inside the return, we have a div with a class name equal to suggested dash list dash top dash bar like so. Looks great. So this is going to be very simple. We're just going to go ahead and have an on click. We're going to have a const navigate first equal to use navigate, and then we're going to go ahead and have a const and navigate back equal to, and this is going to be an arrow function with e react.mouse event on it. And then inside the mouse event, we're going to go ahead and pass in HTML and div element. And let's go ahead and bring this out, e.stop propagation, just for good measures. And we're going to go ahead and navigate, and this is going to navigate us back to lists. So that's simple enough. Let's come down inside of our top bar. Here we're going to have a div class name equal to and suggested dash list dash top dash bar, and then back. What we should really do here is probably set up a placeholder or like a component to reuse for the top bar, because all the top bars are primarily the same. Maybe just inject the child that we want to display inside of it or something, but it is what it is. On click is going to equal to navigate and back like so, and then inside navigate back we'll have arrow back. Like we could set up a component that takes in like the back icon or the close icon, anything on the other side or whatever, and make it a little bit nicer, but we're already pretty deep. Our SX with the width, and this is going to go ahead and be 20px. We'll go ahead and have our height of 20px as well. Go and close out that. Let's go ahead and save this up, and then it might take a second for it to import. It's not throwing a fit anymore, so let's go ahead and set up an h2 with the class name equal to and suggested dash list dash top dash bar in our header. Inside the header, we'll go ahead and have our suggested and list like so. Looks good, and that's all we need here. Like I said, it's going to be a series of like smaller components, but there's just a lot of different sections to set up. So now that this looks good, let's go and hop into our suggested list top bar CSS. Inside our CSS, we're going to start out with suggested dash list dash top dash bar. Inside our top bar, width will be 100%. Go ahead and set the height, and this is going to go ahead and be 53px. After this, we'll go ahead and have we already had height. We'll have a display of flex with justified content in the flex dash start. We'll line items in the center, and then we're going to have a gap of 32px. We'll also have a padding of 8px. My IntelliSense was not working inside the suggested list page CSS, so we might have a typo or bug in there that we might have to debug a little bit later on, but if it gets to that point, we'll deal with that. Next, we have our suggested dash list dash top dash bar dash back. Here we're going to have a width of 32px, a height of 32px, and a display of flex. We'll go ahead and justify content in the center, align items in the center, and then we'll have a border of none, and then a border dash radius of 100%. Next, we'll go ahead and have a dot suggested dash list dash top dash bar and dash back colon hover. Inside hover, we're going to have a cursor pointer, and then we'll go ahead and have a background dash color var GBA. And we'll go ahead and say 0, 0, 0, and then we'll go ahead and 0.1 for a nice light gray color. And then finally I have a dot suggested dash list dash top dash bar, and this one is going to go ahead and be our header. Inside our header, we're just going to have a margin of 0, padding of 0, and then a font dash size of 20px, and finally a font dash weight, and this is going to be 600. Now, this one might have been one of the situations where we wanted it to be kind of see-through and stuff, but oh well, it is what it is, I think. Let's just go ahead and make sure it's all saved up. And now we're ready to go ahead and add this into our suggested list page. Let's go ahead and hop into that component again. Inside of our suggested list page, let's go ahead and get rid of this fragment here. And let's go ahead and have our suggested list top bar component and bring that in. Make sure we don't break this and save it up. Let's go and hop into our app and make sure it looks okay. So now we can see our suggested list. It also doesn't stick to the top, so we might need to do a little extra work to make sure it sticks to the top and whatnot, but it is what it is. So now that that's done, let's go ahead and close out this. And now we need to go ahead and make the choose your list component. Before we do that, I got a little bit ahead of myself. We still need to go ahead and have this open. We need to go into X and let's go and open this up. So inside of choose your own list, there's going to be an image here, maybe if it wants to load. So we want to go ahead and grab this image. So yes, I need to go ahead and go through and make a small fix to the CSS for this. I'm not going to bring it up right now, but I'll fix it later. But we just want to go ahead and save image as and then put it into the assets. I already have it downloaded, so let me go ahead and place in the assets and I'll be back with you guys inside of the project. So if I go and open up my Explorer and let's scroll up to our assets here. So assets, and then there should be a choose your list. There's also like a weird file here because I'm working in Ubuntu and I copied it over from Windows, but it is what it is. Now we have your choose your list. Now we're ready to go ahead and start creating the next component. So let's come back in here, come into our components inside of our list, and then here we're gonna go ahead and say choose your your list slash choose your list.tsx. Also go ahead and make a choose your list.css. Looks good. Hop into here. So let's go and import, and we're gonna say React from React. We're also gonna go ahead and import, and I don't remember what I called this. I think we just called this choose and your list image from .. We need to go all the way back to assets. So let's come all the way back to assets slash, I think I said choose your list.png. I think that's what I called it. Let me double check my folder. That is correct. Otherwise it'll error out obviously if it can't find it. And then we'll import our .. and this is going to be choose your list.css. Let's go and export, and we're going to say const, and this is going to be choose your list, and this will be an arrow function. That's a react.fc. Make the arrow function, and we should be good there. Here, this is going to be super simple. It's going to go ahead and return some code, and it's going to have a div with a class name equal to choose dash your dash list, and this should be without an e, so I'm gonna have to rename this. I'll fix that in a second. Choose your, and choose your. Let's go and fix this typo. So let's go ahead and rename this to choose your list. That one's spelled right. What about this one? That one's not spelled right, so let's go and fix this. We haven't imported anywhere, so it's not going to be that big of an uplift. That one is already spelled right. Cool. So now that we have that spelled properly, we're going to go and have an image with a class, class name equal to, and then this is going to equal to choose dash your dash list, and then image, img. We're going to have an src on this equal to choose your list image, like so, and then an alt equal to, and this is going to go and say choose your list. Let's go ahead and close out the image. Next, we have an h2, the class name equal to, and this is going to be choose dash your dash list, and then dash title. Inside the title, we're just going to go ahead and say choose your list, like so, and this is uppercase. And then we're going to go and have a p tag class name, maybe equal to, and this one is going to be choose dash your dash list dash text, and then in here it's going to say when you follow a list, comma, you'll be able to quickly keep up with the experts on what you care about most. Okay, so that's all this says. So now we need to go ahead and style this. So let's go ahead and hop into the choose your list CSS and deal with that. Inside of our CSS, we can say dot and choose dash your dash list. And here with the 100%, we're going to have a height of just fit maybe dash content. After fit content, we're padding of 32px and a display of flex. After flex, we'll go ahead and flex dash direction. Oh my goodness. It's going to be in the column, and we're just going to go ahead and use this so we can have a gap of, and this is going to be 8px. And finally, we're going to have a border on the bottom, and this is going to be 1px solid, and then pound AAB8, and then C2. There we go. Next, let's go ahead and come below this guy. After this, we're going to have our dot, not shoes, choose dash your dash list dash img. Inside the img, we're just going to go and have a width of 100%. We're going to set the height to auto, and then we're just going to have object, maybe object dash fit. It's going to go ahead and be cover. Let's also make sure to do a semicolon there. Looks good. Then we're going to have a dot choose dash your dash list, and then this one's going to be dash title. Inside the title, margin of 0, and then a padding of 0, and then finally we're going to have a font dash size, and this one will be 26px, and then a font dash weight of 800, and then finally we'll have a dot, and then choose dash your dash list dash text. Inside the text, we'll go ahead and say width is 100%. We're going to have a margin of 0 and a padding of 0, and then we're going to have a font dash size is, this one's going to be 15px, font dash weight of 400, and then finally a color of pound 657786. There we go. Looks good. Save that up. Now we're ready to go ahead and throw this into our page. So let's go ahead and hop into our suggested list page. Inside our suggested list page, let's go ahead and get rid of choose your lists, and I spelled it wrong there as well. Whoops. So choose and your list. I promise I know the difference between your and your. Sometimes I just type things wrong. So that looks pretty good. We're pushing pretty long here, so hopefully we can get this all done this episode. Let's go ahead and open this up and see what it looks like. So back here, you can go ahead and see we see choose your list. Again, we'll fix the top bar. I don't know why this search is broken, but we'll fix this top bar later, but that looks good. Let's go ahead and deal with the discover your own list, and then see if we can get everything done in this episode. Otherwise, if we get a little bit too long, I can go ahead and place the rest of this in the next episode and just kind of shift some things around. So next up, let's go ahead and open up our Explorer, and then now what we want to go ahead and do is, I guess we're going to go ahead and create your own list. I don't know why we're going to do it like that. We should probably do, oh, it's because we're going to already use discover a list, so we don't have that much work left, so we're looking good. So let's go ahead and come back up here, and we're going to go ahead and make sure I put this in the right place, and this is going to be create your own list / create your own list. And I just probably spelled your wrong again. I'm sorry y'all if I did. Create your own list.css. Actually, no, this would be possessive, so that's fine. And I don't know why I'm getting into grammar stuff, but we're going to import React from React. Grammar and spelling is one of my worst things, but I at least know your, and your for the most part, or there, and there. Anyway, I'm derailing us. Let's import our /, and then this is going to be create your own list.css, export const, and create your own list is a react.fc. Go ahead and do one of these, and that looks good. Let's go ahead and return, and inside here I have a div with a class name equal to, and here it's going to be create -your -own -list, and then inside we're going to go ahead and say img is equal to a class name, whoops, equal to, and we need to go ahead and grab this as well, create -your -own -list -img. So we need to go ahead and grab this from Twitter as well. So let's go ahead and hop into Twitter. I'll show you guys where to get this. So on Twitter, if we go ahead and scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's this image. Just go ahead and file, save as, and then also bring it into the assets folder. I'm going to go ahead and do that off screen, and I'll meet you guys back in the code. So once again, if we go and open up the Explorer and go into the assets, now there should be a create your own list. Again, we go ahead and have this weird file because we moved it from Windows to system to Linux subsystem for Linux, but whatever. So now we can go ahead and import that. Now import, we're going to install create your own list img is equal to or from, and then // // all the way to assets. So now we should get to assets / and then create -your -own, oops, own and dash list.png. Okay, and now we can go ahead and set up the source. So src is equal to and create your own list image, and then alt is just going to go ahead and equal to create your own list. Go ahead and close out of that. Looks good. Next, we'll go ahead and have an h2 with a class, and whoops, class maybe name equal to, and this is going to be create dash your dash own list dash title. Inside the title, let's go ahead and say create your own list, and then after the title of a p with a class name equal to, and this is going to go ahead and be you. Actually, I'm sorry, this is going to be create dash your dash own dash list dash text. Inside the text, now we're going to say you can create your own list, and list by adding the people who are already talking about what you want to keep up with most. And this is the most. There we go. So that's the text. And then under this p tag, we're going to go ahead and have a button, the class name equal to, and this is going to go ahead and be create dash your dash own dash list dash button. And then we're going to have it on click on this guy, and we'll set up the on click in a second. Let's go ahead and do one of these. And then finally, we're going to have a close this, and then inside is going to go and say get started. So now we can go ahead and set up the logic for that on click. It should be pretty simple. So here we're just going to go ahead and say const dispatch equal to a use, and let's make sure we say app dispatch, bring that in, is equal to a use dispatch, and also go ahead and import that. And then we're going to say const and open create list modal is equal to an arrow function. We probably could have brought in stop propagation or whatever, but it is what it is. We're going to go ahead and dispatch, and we want to go and say update display, and this one's going to be create list. Let's go ahead and open up that create list modal. We're also going to go ahead and dispatch. We want to update the list state. That way we are ready to create this. So in here, we're going to go ahead and have the property. We'll go ahead and be the create list payload, create list payload. We need that to go ahead and create the list, obviously. And then the value is going to equal to an object. With step 1, we'll go ahead and have image equal to an empty string. We'll have name equal to an empty string. We'll have description equal to an empty string. Is private will be false. And finally, users will be an empty array. We need to go and, of course, import this. There we go. And then now the on click is going to go ahead and be the open modal. So go ahead and say open, create, and make sure you spell create right. Create, oh my goodness, create list modal. And that should, in theory, be everything we need for this guy. Now we just need to go ahead and style this up and add it, and we should basically be done and ready to test. Like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a longer one, but it is what it is. I also don't know if we ever updated the discover list to be able to fetch different amounts. So that might be something I need to look into, because obviously we want to fetch more than like 3 or 4. So we might need to look into that, because I don't know if I ever fixed that. So and maybe I did and I don't remember. But let's go ahead and actually, I'm rambling here, but I think we just look at all of the suggested lists and we decided to fetch a specific amount. So I think we're fine. So now let's go ahead and style this. So let's hop into the create your own list.css. Inside the create your own list, we'll go ahead and start with create your own list. And then here we'll have a width 100%. We'll go ahead and have a height of fit-content. And then we'll have a padding of 32px and a display of flex, and then we will go ahead and just say flex dash direction. We'll go ahead and be column, and I'm just setting this up so we can go ahead and have a gap of 8px, a nice round gap. Then we'll go ahead and have our dot create your, and then own dash list dash image. Here we're just going to go ahead and say width is 100%, height will be auto, and then finally we'll go ahead and have an object, object dash fit, and object fit will be cover. Next we'll go ahead and have a dot create dash your own, if I can spell create right, create dash your dash own dash list, and then our title. And our title will have a margin of 0, or padding of 0, and then a font dash size will be 26px, and a font dash weight is go ahead and be 800. Then we'll have a dot create dash your dash own dash list, and then we're going to have our text. Width will be set to 100%. We're going to have a margin of 0, a padding of 0 on this, and then font dash size will go ahead and be 15px, for font dash weight, and this one will be 400. Whoops, not 500, 400. And finally a color of £657786. Finally, we'll go ahead and have our dot create dash your dash own dash list dash button. Inside here, we're going to have a width of 134px. We probably could have just done width, but it is what it is. Height is going to be 44px. And then margin dash top is going to be 28px. We're going to have a display of flex. Inside the flex, we go ahead and justify content in the center and align our items in the center. We're going to have a background dash color of black on this, and then we're going to go ahead and have a color of white. After white, we'll go ahead and say font dash size is going to be 15px, font dash weight will be 600, and a border of none, but we're going to go ahead and have a border dash radius on it, and this is going to go ahead and be 22px. And then we're going to probably want to hover on this, so we're going to go and say dot create dash your dash own dash list dash button hover. Inside the hover, we're going to have a cursor, a pointer, and then we'll go ahead and have a background, maybe background. I spelled something wrong. Background. There we go. Dash color. RGBA 0,0,0. We're going to go and say 0.9, make it a little bit lighter. So let's go ahead and save this. I have a feeling that I screwed up some CSS or styling somewhere in this, so we might need to go ahead and go back and debug this. But that should basically be everything here. Now we just need to go ahead and add this in and make sure everything is working properly. So let's go ahead and hop back into our suggested list page. Inside here, first let's go ahead and replace the discover list. So we're going to use the same thing. So we're going to go ahead and say discover and list. Here we're going to go ahead and say display show more is equal to false. Go ahead and close out that. And then also inside of create your own list, we'll go ahead and have create your own list, and then go ahead and save that. So in theory, that should be all the work, as long as I didn't typo anything. I'm also going to jot down the bug with the top bar. I'll figure out what's going on with that. I don't know why the search bar is not sticking. That should stick no matter what. But let's just go ahead and hop in here and see what's going on. So now if we go ahead and refresh, there we go. We can see our list. We can scroll down. Then we can see create your own list. And this is a bug that I was talking about that we're going to fix in a later episode. I could have pulled it up to a closer episode, but it is what it is. We click this. It should go ahead and open up this. This is one of the other reasons why I wanted to fix this modal from scrolling and all this stuff. That looks good. We can go ahead and scroll back up. And again, I don't know why this guy's not sticking, because this guy like sticks in here, or doesn't stick in here. It sticks in like home or something, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm just crazy. So maybe that's also broken. But whenever we show more here, this guy should stick to the top. So I'm going to dig up the code to fix that. I just forgot to put it into this episode, and I'll fix it whenever we get done with all the other stuff. I think I want to go ahead and do another bug fixing episode after we get all this stuff done. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, everything helps out here with the YouTube algorithm. As always, if you guys do want to see where we start from absolute scratch to get to the point now, there's going to go ahead and be a playlist in the end card coming right up. With that being said, y'all, hope you have a great day. This has been Ethan, our encoder, and I'll see you all in the next video.